This morning, we have gathered together to honor the continuing legacy of James Vittorioso. As a lifelong resident of Lawrence, teacher, school committee member, and a veteran who served in the Army during a very difficult time in history, he lived a life dedicated to public service. He saw generations of students graduate from the same high school he did, and he felt that a commitment to the children of Lawrence. There is a life lesson here for the rest of us. We have a chance to continue these efforts, working together to make our city, state, and country a place where we all have the freedom to learn and become the best versions of ourselves. As we celebrate Veterans Day tomorrow, let's remember that although those who serve do so for many different reasons, in the end, what matters is their commitment to giving themselves. And James Vittorioso is a perfect example of that mindset, and one of which we can all be proud. As we leave here today, we should take away this spirit and dedication to making the world a better place.
Many of you might not know this here today. He was a believer. He believed in the city. He believed in the greatness of the children who live here. And he believed they were capable of doing great things, which many of us here today also believe. Whether you call them Jim, Jimmy V, or Mr. B, he took the time to get to know who you were and find out how you were doing. One former student fondly remembered how Mr. V started class by saying, "Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, future adults to be." And teachers who worked with him tell stories of his sense of humor, his commitment, and his ability to be outspoken when others might not speak up. Having graduated from Lawrence High School before getting overseas to serve in Vietnam, he knew that choosing to stand for the rights and freedoms of others is not always easy, but it always makes a difference. After returning from Vietnam, he got his teaching degree, and his master's in education and proved again that living a life of service was a defining part of who this man was. As a lifelong resident of Lawrence, an Army veteran, a teacher in the district for 37 years, and a school committee member after his retirement, he has a legacy that most people would envy. We are here today to honor that legacy. His legacy serves as a daily reminder that a life of service may not lead to loud accolades or big job titles, but that a life of service is even more of an honor because we choose it. We choose, just like he did, to make a commitment that's not always easy, but definitely makes a difference.
Now to read a poem in honor of Veterans Day, Guilmette 8th grader, Rixandra Samboy.
The job has been done. Standing proud and strong, we're glad to say they are our leaders. As courageous as they can be, we pledge to them as they sing to the flag. Those words do not just mean lyrics, they're the meaning to life, another man's future. We see peace in their eyes, love in their smiles, and protection in their arms. We see the world in their hands, for they give us something to thank for, something to hold on to. To the ones who lay in paradise, they are just as strong as the ones who stand. For their noble selves, they had done the job. And now we must take place. For their hard work and souls, and memories and happiness for the ones we respectfully call all United States, how we truly appreciate your service.
Thank you, Rixandra. Now to say a few words about Jimmy V, please welcome the president of the Lawrence Teachers Union, Frank McLaughlin.
Good morning, children. Good morning, honored guests and veterans on Veterans Day. I just want to read a few words on behalf of Jimmy Vittorioso. Some things you may not know, but Jimmy Vittorioso, he was 75 when he passed away unexpectedly on June 22nd, 2015 at his home. He was born in Lawrence, and he was a lifelong resident of the city. Like you children, he was educated in the Lawrence Public Schools. He graduated from Lawrence High School in 1958, and he served his country proudly in the United States Army. After he completed his military service, he enrolled in college. He furthered his education at Boston State College, and he earned his teacher's degree and his master's in education. He taught in the Lawrence school system for 37 years and taught at most of the schools throughout the city, spending most of his career at Lawrence High School, where he was my teacher, and at the Guilmette School, where he was your teacher. At Lawrence High School, he was lovingly known as Mr. V, and the Guilmette School he referred to as the Super G. And he did serve as a school committee member for many, many years. He had a great sense of humor. He had a great love of life. He loved all the children of Lawrence, especially the Super Gs. And Jimmy would want us to remember that today is a little bit about him, but really today and tomorrow is about veterans and Veterans Day. So I pulled a lesson from his plan book, and I think it's an important lesson that I think Jimmy V would like to share with you. It's about the soldiers who have served this country. You know, it takes courage for a soldier to risk his life and limb for his country. The least we can do as civilians is to honor these heroes. That is the basis of Veterans Day. That is the basis of this Veterans Day celebration, is to venerate all men, all veterans, and women, especially women, with words of appreciation. So if you see a veteran, say thank you for your service. Take a moment to remember the sacrifices of the brave men and women who have valiantly fought and to make America this great nation on earth. This is truly the greatest nation on earth. God bless America. So on this Veterans Day, let us remember the service of our veterans, and let us renew our national promise to fulfill our sacred obligations to our veterans and their families who have sacrificed so much so that we can live free. Our veterans accepted the responsibility to defend America and uphold our values when duty called. The willingness of Americans' veterans to sacrifice for our country has earned them our lasting gratitude, and we should be always thankful. In the words of John F. Kennedy, former President of the United States, he said, "As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them." So in closing, I'd like to recite one of my favorite poems. This is a poem by legendary Boston politician James Michael Curley, and this would apply to all veterans. Around the corner I have a friend in this great city that has no end. Yet the days go by and the weeks go on, and before I know it, a year is gone. And I never see my old friend's face, for life is a swift and terrible race. He knows I like him just as well as in days when I rang his bell and he rang mine. We were younger then, and now we are busy, tired old men, tired of playing a foolish game, tired of trying to make a name. Tomorrow, I say, I'll think of them just to show that we love them. But tomorrow comes and tomorrow goes, and the distance between us grows and grows. Around the corner, yet miles away, there's another news report. A veteran passed away today. And that's what we get and deserve in the end. Around the corner, a vanished friend. Thank you so much. You kids did a terrific job putting this assembly together. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McLaughlin. Now, on behalf of Mr. Vittorioso's family, Mr. McLaughlin and Major Romano will present a plaque and Mr. Vittorioso's Veterans Funeral Flag to the two principals of the Guilmette Educational Complex, Melissa Spash and Lori Butterfield.
May I just educate you for a few seconds. I'm a teacher, so can I just educate you about this flag? Do you mind? Yes. In June, when Mr. V passed on to his next journey, his next life, he was presented this flag, and it was on behalf of the President of the United States and a grateful nation. And it was for his service to his country during a very tough war, the Vietnam War. It was a very nasty war that he fought in. And it was presented to his family. And he fought. And when he fought for your freedom. And his family received this for his service to his country. And then he got out of the military, he went and he served again to the city of Lawrence. But when his family received this, his family decided to take this and donate it to the school. And that's what we're about to do here. But Mr. V did 35, 40 years of service to not only the country, but to the city of Lawrence. And I'm just so honored that I was able to partake in this ceremony. So I thank the mayor, I thank the principals for allowing me to partake in this ceremony.
Well, this is a great opportunity. I get to be the acting mayor of the city of Lawrence today. And what I want to do is I want to say, first of all, introduce everybody to Kate Riley, who is the Chief of Staff for Mayor Rivera. And you're the Chief of Staff today because I'm the mayor today. And I just want to tell you a few words about Mayor Rivera. It's a great honor for me to stand in his place, because for a long time he sat in your place. He was my student, and he was a terrific student. And the mayor truly loves the children of Lawrence and truly wants the children of Lawrence to study hard and do well. And in many ways, he was a model. He was a model student. And then he went to the military. He came back. He worked in government, and he eventually got elected mayor of the city of Lawrence. And he's back to help you. So he's a terrific, terrific leader. And on behalf of the mayor, I want to be able to recognize the family of Jim Victorioso, because when you get to be the mayor, you can do proclamations. And what we have is we have a certificate of appreciation that we're going to present to Mr. V's family, and I'm going to read it to you. In honor of James Victorioso, who dedicated his life to teaching students in the city of Lawrence, his legacy lives through the lives of the students he has taught, and throughout his career, James Victorioso was an exemplary educator and a resident of the city of Lawrence who is greatly missed by all those who knew them. Thank you for making Lawrence better. Signed, Daniel Rivera, Mayor, City of Lawrence, November the 10th, 2015, and it has the seal of the City of Lawrence on it. So I would like to call up Geraldine Giovanni and Anthony Paralisi and Susan Paralisi to come up to the microphone and accept these certificates and appreciation from the City of Lawrence. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Give me a hand, please. I would like to acknowledge on this stage a veteran, Roger Toomey, former city councilor, who served the city well. And thank you for your service, Roger. Can you stand up and take a bow? If there are any other veterans in the hall, can you please stand up so that we can acknowledge you? Roger, you can stand again.
Thank you, Mr. McLaughlin. Now please welcome the Guilmette are members of the Guilmette Orchestra and Choir, led by music teacher Ryan Solero and director David Hurtado.